Good morning, good evening, and welcome to this week's Fiverific Live Craft and Chat, where we craft and chat live. We have the blankets ready to go. I've got the dice out. I think I have everything. But one thing I really wanted to just jump in and mention right off the start, even before housekeeping, was the Yarny Girls podcast has been released, the very first episode. So if you have not had a chance to go and check that out, put it in your brain to go and check out after the live stream is over. Go and save yourselves a link. I have popped a link in the description below. If you just tap on Yarny Girls, it'll take you to Yarny Girls podcast. It is our first one. It's a bit longer than we plan to go forward with, so don't panic. We don't intend to drivel on for over an hour. It's like an hour and 5 or something like that in the future, but we figured it had been a bit longer in the making than we had anticipated, so we made it long. Epic is the word I'm using. It is an epic episode, so if you have already had a chance to watch it, let us know in the chat what you thought of it. Did I see that Claire was in here? Maybe I didn't. Yeah, Claire is in here. Claire is in the chat. So Crochet with Claire and myself, for those of you that don't know, have just started a podcast. It's been a long time coming, and it is now available for you to go and watch. Okay, so now that is out of the way, it was a good use of several soapboxes. There were some soapboxes in there, weren't there? Kelly Pole has got a Yarny Girls link. It's if you actually just go youtube.com/@Yarny Girls, that's the short link for it. But there is a clickable link in the description. There was a clickable link in the description, and Kelly has popped one into the chat. Lisby is celebrating 18 months of membership. Thank you so much for being here all of that time, Lisby. I very much appreciate you. Sandy said that she loved it. It was so much fun. That is awesome. Thank you. Kathy said that the podcast was so fun. That is great. I'm really happy that those of you that have had a chance to watch it or listen to it. In the US viewers, I think, can actually find it in the YouTube Music app. If you're a US viewer and you have the YouTube Music app, can you let me know if that's actually true? Because I hear everyone saying it, but because I'm in Australia, I can't actually check. So that would be great. If you're a US-based viewer and you could just go and check that for me, that would be aces. So I believe you just open your YouTube Music app and just type in the name of the podcast in search, so Yarny Girls, and it should come up. I don't know. And I've just realised I've got a tingle in my nose and I have no tissues. So I am going to have to duck off and grab a tissue in just a second. Good morning from myself and Vampire. Artog from Vampire. Hello to both of you. How are you going? Lisby says that she hasn't had a chance to listen yet. It's in her to-do list. Now, if you are over there watching it, and I didn't put this in the video anywhere, but if you are okay with us, because right now YouTube don't have a way for us to push it out. They're planning on it. The YouTube podcasting is about to expand out, and they're planning on making it so anywhere that accepts an RSS feed can take it and all these sorts of things. It's not available yet. But if you want us to actually get it into your favorite podcasting apps and to push it into that next step, let us know, because it is a little bit of an effort, but it's doable, if that makes sense. Or if you're happy enough for it to be on YouTube, let us know that as well. Daniel Anderson is in the chat. This is my little brother. You be kind in here, Daniel. I'm just saying. Angela, you're a champion. It's in my YouTube Music. Just looked. That is great. Thank you, Angela. That is the first confirmation that I've had that it's actually there for the US viewers. So that is awesome. Lisby, it doesn't work in Australia. It's US only at the moment. So yeah, it is frustrating that we don't have that yet. But they rolled it out to the US first. Hopefully enough people in the US utilize it so they roll it out to the rest of the world. Wouldn't that be nice? I know, boss lady. Oh my gosh. Sally is just making her morning mocha, so if you're going to be naughty, now's the time to do it while she's distracted. Although I do think Kelly and Josephine are both here, so maybe don't be naughty in the chat. There are mods that will sort you out. They'll sort you out. Okay, now, housekeeping for this week. I don't really think there is any. There's no Caffeinated Crafters on tonight. The next one's not till the first Thursday of June. Oh, yes. There were some problems with the Fibrific website that had been happening over the last few months. I thought I'd fixed all of them up to, I think, a couple of weeks ago, only to find out that when people placed orders, they received no emails. So they weren't receiving confirmation of their order. The only email they got was PayPal going, hey, we took your money. And because I was running all my correspondence through the website so that I can keep track of when I sent this email, when I sent this message, blah, 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 blah. The actual website was saying, yep, we sent it. And I'm like, have you checked your spam folders? Have you checked this? Because sometimes they were going into spam folders. Historically, over the last 6 years, every now and again, someone would find their emails in the spam folders. And I just was like, okay, this is getting silly. There's a lot of people telling me this. And someone had put an order in and I was waiting on a bank payment for it. And I'm like, what if they haven't received the order processing form, which has the bank details on it? So they couldn't make their bank payment. So I did some digging and I've had to set up my own SMTP, which is basically a separate mail server for the, it's not quite a mail server, but it's similar to a mail server for the website. So I ran a whole pile of testing yesterday. Fingers are crossed. It looks like it's working. I set myself up with some Chantelle, you're going to order some shipping. So some fake dummy purchases to check that I was getting the messages, and I got all the messages. So I'm like, oh my gosh, okay. So all this time, people thought I was just ignoring them, but I wasn't. I just didn't realize it wasn't working. It is definitely, it was frustrating. But it appears to be working. So if you place an order with Fibrific and you don't get an email back within a couple of days, well, actually, you should automatically get the processing order email. There should be one email straight away. Whenever the PayPal email comes through, there should be a Fibrific email that comes basically hand in hand. So it's just one of these crazy things. So yeah, so upsetting. Now I'm not ignoring you guys. I just needed to get that out. Sandy says that she loves my cow. Sandy, I'm going to have to look it up. I can't remember the pattern name, but these are all like little leftover bits of all my hand dyed yarns. So I have all these little bits when I was doing, kits and mini bits and mini skeins and all this sort of stuff, that there were all these leftovers. So I utilize them to make myself this cowl. And the cowl actually has it's so cool. Let's see, it's cold in here. I haven't worked out the Goldilocks. So it's just a straight up cowl, just a straight, go that way, Chantelle. But there are different stitches for different rows. And it rotates, not a different stitch for every row. I want that back on because it's so cold in here. It's not a different stitch for every row. So I'll dig out the pattern and I'll pop it over in the fun zone. Angela says, I'll listen on my YouTube music to help get it on the radar. Thank you, Angela. That is amazing. That would be super awesome. Good morning, Leanne is in the chat. How are you going? Bianca said I was looking for it in my podcast app to remind me to watch it, so I'm in favour of being listed there. Yeah, the catch with it is it's I'm going to be really blatant and honest. There's no income coming from this podcast, and we have to pay for it to be put into these places. So we're just tossing up what to do about that, and it's a monthly cost. It's not a once-off cost. So we were kind of like, okay, let's just make a few episodes and see if we actually keep making them, and go from there. So Sally is back with her mocha. That is awesome. Oh, oh my gosh. So Sally also loves my beanie, but loves my scarf. But my brother's just written here, my dad's just been staying at my brother's house. And Dad stole my beanie. I mean, I gave you two, right? So you should still have one. Hopefully you're still keeping your head warm. So Dad's got the blanket, because everyone here knows about the blanket. They all saw it. Dad took his blanket, took your beanie. He has a beanie that I made him. He's got a brioche beanie that I made for him in custom hand-dyed colours that he picked the colours. So, yeah, oh my gosh. Okay. I'm going to have to... So, I didn't think Dad would like that shape. Anyway, sorry, Daniel. I'll talk to you about that later. Did they make changes without telling you? No, but we just... Like, there's ways to do it for free that we thought we'd be able to do. And then when we looked into it more, it was free, but it would only sit there for 30 days. It wouldn't stay there. So you wouldn't get a library of old episodes. The new episode would come in and then, within 30 days, the other episodes would be gone. So we just didn't understand it enough because podcasting is new for me. YouTube, old hat. Podcasting is totally new. Infected area, welcome to the chat. I'm in for a bit today, homesick from work, but exciting for it being a sick day and a day of alive and the first episode of the new season of the British Sewing Bee. I'm gonna go with, are you like actually sick or you're like I feel sick? So I'm very curious if it's a legit. I mean, it's totally a legit sick. It's totally a legit sick. Definitely a legit sick. Thank you, Angela. I appreciate that. Sally is celebrating 19 months of membership. I can't believe that we've had the memberships going for that long. I can't believe it. Yeah, basically I am. I'm wearing a big old swatch. I love it. I think we should all make swatches like this for sure. Yeah, Daniel's here to ask for a new beanie. That's why he's jumped in. No. Yeah, no, it absolutely costs. So, because it's hosting, they host the audio and they charge you for the hosting of the audio. So the only place it doesn't charge you for hosting is YouTube. So yeah, everyone who has a podcast is either understanding that their podcast is going to only be there for a few weeks, or they're paying. So yeah. Oh, he thinks because he's old, everything handmade must be his. Okay, all right. I'm just surprised. I can't. Does it fit? I made it to fit your head. Anyway, oh, proper sick, proper man flu. Okay. Fair enough. Oh, public pressure. How long, craft lady? Look, I'm in the middle of some other projects right now, so I'll have to get back to you. Oh gosh, guys, for those of you just joining, this is my brother. I'm teasing. Yeah, it's all cool. Speaking of other projects I'm working on, I'm in the middle of knitting myself a sweater because you know what? This room that we work in here, I just realized that microphone is in the shot. That's annoying. It is too hot in summer and too cold on days like this. I'm like, where is the Goldilocks zone for this room? And I think it's summer nights with the fan going. I think that's it. So it is just craziness that I can't, like, I'm in long pants, socks, long sleeve shirt. I was like, oh, that'll be enough. And then I'm like, nope, I need my cowl. Abby's aircon is on in her room, trying to push some heat this way. Works really well with the cool, doesn't seem to work with the heat. So, like, there is no heat in this room. Anyway, so what I've been working on, and it's covered in fluff. I've just realized I probably should have looked at it under lights before I decided to bring it out. I'm going to change camera view. There we go. This is the Arco sweater from Hohi Locatelli. So it's going to have long sleeves, but we're not there yet. We've only just joined at the neckline. And I did that thing that I hate. There's a loose stitch. I'm going to have to janky that up somehow when I'm joining on the neckband. I haven't yet tried it on. I'm not doing any more knitting on it until I've tried it on. But I absolutely love the detail in the raglan sleeves. It's been so easy and such a joy. And the yarn I'm using is a cotton wool blend from Hobie. in Midnight Blue. I don't have a tag here. I grabbed it. It was on sale. I bought like a boatload of it. I've got like 20 balls, like they're little 50-gram balls. It turns out that both Macy and Louie like it when I'm knitting. Louie to steal the ball of yarn, Macy to attack the moving yarn, because that's what she does. But I'm really enjoying this. And now that I don't have to purl anymore, because I'm one of those knitters that I'm not a big fan of purling. And I know, let me know in the chat if you're a knitter, how do you feel about purling? So now that I've joined on and I'm just knitting, I'm so happy. But I don't want to keep going until I've given it a little try on. And for those of you that don't know, I am losing a little bit of weight. I've been doing some stuff with that. So if it's a little snug, I'm okay because the weight's still coming off. So, but I don't want it to be like, oh, can't breathe, too small, can't move arms. So I want to have the opportunity to be able to pull back and add in extra peats like under the arms or something like that to sort of give me some more room. That's my biggest concern is the arms. I'm a bit narrower through here compared to the size of my arms, so not in proportion. I mean, hands up in the chat if you're in proportion. Like, no one's sticking their hands up. Not in proportion. No one is. So it is a very, 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 very enjoyable. But it's a paid pattern, I think. I had to pay for it. It's a Hohi Locatelli. I have got it. Do I have it in my Ravelry queue? Maybe I don't, because I was going to do a different one. I was going to do a crochet sweater, and I think I put that one in my projects. And then I started it and realized I don't like it in DK. So I stopped that. But I will double check. If it's not in there, it'll be in there soon. I haven't posted any photos on Instagram. So it's probably not there yet. So, because that's how I grab all the photos. I've got my Instagram account linked. Speaking of Instagram and linking accounts and Ravelry, my walkthrough for the first Ravelry video is nearly done. I'm in the middle of editing it. It's nearly ready. So that's where we're at with that. Get the dust off the table. So I did grab the hook. There's the hook. In my cup today, there we go, blinding. This is pink, everybody. It's not red. It's a hot, wreck your cameras pink. There we go. I hate purling from Sally. Purling is hard on my hands. Me too. That's why I don't like it. Purling is just a backwards knit. And you know what? Sometimes I just do knit to the left and knit to the right just so I don't have to purl. It was a technique I learnt when I was learning on Entrelac. And I actually forgot that I could do that until you mentioned it. So maybe I should have been doing that, but I wasn't. Lisby hates purling. Holly is not a fan of purling. I did over on the Fiberific Instagram stories. I shared a photo of Macy Tibble, but I shared it from Macy Tibbles and Louie's Instagram page. You guys, they have their own Instagram. And Abby runs it, and it's full of all the cute photos and the naughty videos. And so if you guys want to go and check that out and follow it, if you go to I'm just double checking. If you just go to the Fiberific page, check the stories. I'm double checking the story is still there. It should be, at least for a bit longer. Yeah, if you go to the stories. If you go to the Fiberific stories, you can actually tap that photo and go through to their Instagram. So you can definitely go and check out there was a whole pile of photos. That was just the first one. Kelly says, I don't enjoy purling as much as knitting, but I get better tension when purling. I don't know. I'll soon find out if there's a tension shift between my stockinette versus my knitting around. So alrighty, so we are up to our next colour, you guys. I should bang the table less hard. So it is time for a dice roll. Now I had a little bit of a look, and this is like the 8th or 9th video we've done, right? And we still haven't had an 8, okay? So I really want an 8. I really, really just want an 8 a lot, okay? So I really want an 8. And I know that like Lisby is like, well, if you get an 8, I'm just going to vote for 3. And that's cool. That's cool if you're just going to vote for whatever. But I just want the 8. I just want the 8. So, yeah. So let's go with it's dice roll. It's dice roll. Dice roll time. Roll the dice to choose the next colour. Because I realised last week I wasn't clicking the button, so it made it really hard to find when we rolled dice. Okay, so we're going to roll. Oh my God! You can't see it, it's behind the thing. We got an 8. Oh, I'm so happy. I'm so happy. We actually, I really want the 8. And we got the 8. Okay, so we got an 8. So there is our vote now for wildcard. I get to press the buttons. Here we go. You've got 40 seconds to go and vote. There's a link. That's so exciting. Oh, there's a link in the chat. It'll take you to a voting page where you can vote for the colour that you want next. We might let it go a little longer than our 40-second timer, but I figured 40 seconds was long enough. So, yeah. Oh my gosh. Now what do? You go and vote. There's a link in the chat. fibrific.com.au/vote. It'll take you to a page where you can go and vote. And I might set the 40 seconds again. There we go. Only for this one. In future, it'll just be, in future, maybe in another 9 weeks, it'll only be 40 seconds. So just for this one, you can go and vote. So make sure you go and vote at the link. Any numbers in the chat. I'll be curious, but I won't be voting. I won't be adding up the totals from the chat. It'll be from the other website. So, did I close it? I did close it. Oh, I have to go there. Hang on. There we go. Alrighty. So, let's go and check out the voting page. We'll remove the wild card and the countdown clock. Okay, so this is the voting page you've gone to vote at. I'm going to give you another second to get your votes in, and then I'm going to click the show results button down here at the bottom. I'm so excited. I finally got to use all of the little things. Woo! So I'm very happy. I don't mind which colours you will vote for. So, okay, I'm going to go and click the show results. Our winner is purple. I'm just checking. It normally lets me know. So 5 votes. Oh, no, there's still votes coming in. Are you guys still voting? All right, so it's purple. We're going with number 3 for purple. No one voted for Morpho. Interesting. Interesting. Oh, I see now. There's a colour scale there. Okay. All right. So we're going with Anemone. Anemone. So number 3 for Anemone. And let's go back to here. I don't have Louis Cam on because Louis is currently out in the lounge room sleeping on his chair that's got a blanket, a little flat dog bed that's got like fluffy in it, and then him, and then a blanket over the top of him, and Ginger Kitty is sleeping in the sun next to him. So if Louis comes in, I will flick on Puppy Cam. It is set up. It is ready to go. Look, I'll show you. It's ready to go. Louis Cam is ready to go, but there's no Louis. Okay. I know it was probably a little bit of like a, you know, one of those, what do you call that? Like, I'm excited, but I just want to say, you know, I'm just going to write 8, woohoo, and then 3, because you voted for the 3. But look at this. Our last row was a purple. So Beck, Nick missed it. You did. You missed it. I waited. Like, it's half an hour into the live stream, Beck. Like, seriously. Who are you even? Jai Good is in the house. Good to see you. It is a surprise when you jump in. It is. Okay. So let's get this started and then we can get on with the chatting. In my cup, I've actually gone back and dug out the old licorice legs. Just because my throat's been feeling a little meh. I think it's the cold air. It was quite funny. I've walked into the kitchen this morning and Abby's just sneezing and sneezing and sneezing. And I'm like, gosh, I hope you haven't got anything. She goes, no, I just walked in the kitchen and started sneezing. And then within a second, I started sneezing. And then we've realized the kitchen is so much colder than anywhere else in the house that we weren't ready for it. Beck says, I was busy getting coffee and then realized what time it was and that you are actually free. I mean, like win and win. You've got coffee and crafting time. So let me know in the chat what you are currently working on, because I'm working on this, but let me know what you're working on. And now if you want to know what this is, in the description down below I've got links to Crochet with Claire's pattern, because this is her mosaic blanket. I would say it's a really good first step into mosaic crochet. I think it's a really gentle first step. So if you want to try it and you're a bit nervous, this is a really great way to go. I did make my first one of this when I was testing out the pattern, just as a like to go over the arm of my coffee, over the arm of my couch, so like a giant coaster for my coffee. What was the name of the? Oh, it's Arco, ARCO. It's got something else, but it's her only Arco pattern. So that would be great. We are very short of 1,000 thumbs. I mean, yeah, we are. But in saying that, I wouldn't expect. I've never expected 1,000 thumbs up, because we currently don't have anywhere near 1,000 people viewing. Kind of makes it hard to have 1,000 thumbs ups. Oh, Sandy's working on the same blanket. Awesome, Sandy. Kathy's still working on a cable blanket. She's onto the border. That's fantastic. Frances is spinning camel and merino blend. Oh my gosh, that sounds amazing. I love camel fiber. So when you think camel, it's not the coarse camel hair that you think of. Camels are double coated animals, so it's actually like a soft, downy, very short staple fluffs. It's fluffs. It is definitely. Is that the right one, Josephine? I'm not sure if that is. I thought it was called Arco. Hang on. Oh, do you know what? It's on my iPad. I can tell you exactly what it's called. Opening up. I'm working on it in the Note app. What's the Note app called again? I can never remember. I just shut everything down. Notability. There we go. Okay. Bring it. It is Arco Iris is what it's called. It is, I'm just going to make sure. No, there we go. I didn't want to give away any of the pattern, but that's what it's going to look like. I may go a slightly longer in the sleeves. I like my sleeves to be just a little bit longer. Like, this is the length of sleeves I like. I know it looks like my sleeves are short, but I like my sleeves this length, because I always pull them up until they're that length anyway. So why not make it the length I want? It's my jumper. So yeah, Arco Iris. So, and I also love it in this speckle. Like, so if you've got a beautiful speckle in a hand-dyed, and look at this collar. It's got just this little cable, a little bit of ribbing. I think the bottom is, oh no, bottom's got ribbing and cable again. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to being able to wear this. So Arco Iris is the one that we've got. Maria says that Arco Iris is Spanish for rainbow. Thank you, Maria. I appreciate that. It is Arco Iris, yes. Oh, you're almost done with your poncho. Awesome. I'm just drinking my coffee, But I was working on something. It would be the cardigan I started for my 6-year-old earlier this week. Okay. But if I was working on something, okay. Pen- Penelope finished my 2 Math Rocks blankies, now working on bookmarks for the church fair. Awesome. So you've made 2, and I'm still in my first one, she says, actually not doing anything. Anyway, mind you, I am refraining from working on it off camera. No, I'm not going to splatter paint on it. I actually quite like the blue that I've got. I'm working on a knitted top of my own design and a knitted Mowbray brioche beanie. Nice. Oh, thank you, Josephine. And I think Sally threw it in earlier, but the Arco Iris link is in the chat. It is a very pretty jumper. I'm just really hoping it looks nice on. Megan Hayden is working on a Country Fields blanket by Claire. It's a long project, but so fun. Yeah, Shannon, me too. I love the collar. It's just that little bit of detail. It's not over the top. It's not bulky, but just a little hint of detail. And I think that would really blends in nicely with the fact that she's using a speckled yarn. And even though I'm using like a darker solid yarn, I think it's going to come out really nicely. Well, I hope it does, because otherwise I'll be very disappointed with all the work. My nose is in my cup with every sip of tea. Oh, very funny. Very funny. I am probably going to mod the arm size. Yes. Because, yeah, I agree with you. The arm size looks quite small. But in saying that, I haven't measured. Sorry, everyone. I'm just going to pull this. The actual arm size is quite generous. Like, I don't have a tape measure handy, but that's quite a generous armhole size. I know it's got to do the top of my arm, not the bottom, but I would say that it's fairly generous. Like, I would say that it would look snug, but not be strangling. So I'm really hopeful that because I'm going to have to mod it, but I'm really hopeful that when I mod it, I don't have to mod it a lot. And I realized I'd gotten through half a dozen rows before I realized, oh crap, I have to try that on. So I'm going to have to, so hopefully I don't have to, it'd be really nice if I don't have to mod it, but I just about always do have to mod jumpers, sleeves. Brioche takes a bit of getting used to, but it's easy once you're at it for a few months. Yeah, brioche is one of those amazing things. It's to me, it's a little bit like the Mosaic. Looks super technical, but once you get into the flow of it, it's actually not bad. Kelly says, interesting. I will definitely be stalking your progress. Yeah, I will make sure I get some photos up. I've got to pop in a longer cable or like an extra cable just so I can pull it over my head without undoing any stitches, which would be devastating. For the Arco, I have said, but that's okay. I'm using it's called, I think it's Midnight Blue. It's a merino cotton blend from Hobie. It's got like different bands. It doesn't have Hobie bands. I will add also photos of the bands. And see if I can grab a link as well. Maybe a link would be helpful. But yeah, I'll try and throw that into the Fibrific Fun Zone chat. I did put a link in for the live stream into the Fun Zone this morning. So if you want to share photos of what you're working on, or anything that we're talking about in the chat, definitely pop that into the linked, into the comments of that link so that we could know which week you're talking about. That would be awesome. Jen Deal, welcome to the chat. It's been a while since I've seen your name pop up or seen you in the chat. It is very vibrant. It's so vibrant that it's actually hot pink, not red, and it throws the cameras out. So if you want to check out what these colors actually look like, go and hit up the Fibrific Instagram. I do get photos over there that just look so much closer to the real thing rather than these cameras. And before anyone says anything about, changing camera settings, blah, 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 I have tried that. I've also tried 6 different cameras. So definitely not having the best luck trying to get this really hot, vibrant pink to play nicely with video. I seem to be able to do it okay with a photo, but not so much with the video. Am I heading down to Bendigo this year? No, I'm not this year. No Fibrific stall, as basically, I'm not sure if you've heard Jai, but Fibrific online store is closing out of most of its stock lines, and once all those things are sold out and they're all on 40% off, I will then just only have sort of my little pens and badges and bags that I make, plus Margicraft. So the Margicraft stock that I have is not on sale because I am not ending my Margicraft dealership. But as we would like our house to be a house rather than a storage unit, we've had to make some decisions. And one of the decisions was that I needed to shut down the online store for Fibrific. Yeah. I don't say say blah that much. True. But I do. I say blah a lot. Blah, blah, blah. And Leanne has popped a link into the fun zone. So that is doubly awesome. Thank you, Leanne. So we are powering along here to get to the end of this beautiful anemone row. If you're wondering what this yarn is, there is a link in the description below. It is an affiliate link. And so it is for Maker Yarn. So this is an acrylic yarn that's being brought in through Maker store. And she's choosing some gorgeous colors to bring in, which I absolutely love. She brought in an autumn range of colors, which I don't have yet. I still have the bright sort of summery colors. But yeah, it's definitely building out, because she's fairly new at having a yarn line. So, you know, it's slow bringing in all of the yarn colors, because you do have to buy a lot. You do have to order a lot when you're making these decisions. And so you can sort of only like do what you can do until, you know, you've sold enough of the previous color to be able to order the next color. So it is definitely worth going and checking out and keeping an eye on as well, because if she doesn't have the colors you like now, that doesn't mean she's not going to have them later. So there is a link in the description for the Maker yarns. This is the Dirty DK. These are 200 gram, 333 meter skeins. My only pick, it's a small pick. My only pick with this yarn is I would class it as worsted, not DK. It's definitely, it's the same meterage as Red Heart Super Saver, which is most definitely a worsted weight yarn. But that's my pick. As long as you're checking the meterage and making sure that you've got the right meterage for the weight for your project, or, you know, you're okay with your project being slightly bigger and needing an extra couple of balls of yarn than what a DK project would need, then it's all good. Gamer Widows will be at Bendigo. Absolutely. Make sure you go and check her out. She is madly making all of our amazing pouches. So this is the Humbug Pouch. I'm like, what is in this one before I show? Oh, this one's just got some junk. It's got some stitch markers. It's got more stitch markers. This one's not set up for a project. Because what I normally do is I have one of these, because I may have 6 of them now. I have one of these with each of my projects, and I can fit my little scissors in. Little scissors can fit. I'm just shoving it in there. Where's my crochet hook? I just dropped it. Crochet hook can fit in. Get in your little crochet hook. There we go. Crochet hook can fit in. All your stitch markers, I can pop a tape measure in there if I knew where my tape measure was. Abby, I'd like my tape measure back, please. And yeah, you can fit everything you need for a project in there. Gamer Widows also designed a special one for us. This one. So it has got all sorts of different shaped dice, because we're using 8-sided dice. And we got an 8. I'm so happy. Sorry. All different shaped dice, and it has a D20 dice stitch marker. I'm currently keeping all my dice in this one. So I think my brother termed them as nerd dice. He's like, oh, your nerd dice. If Daniel's still here, good job. So all my nerd dice are in here, and there's so much more room for so many more dice. So, yeah. So if you want one, go and hit up fibrific.com .au/go/Game Widows. Now, I'm just going to pop out for just 1 minute. I really need a tissue. So, speak amongst yourselves. I still don't have a Be Right Back screen. Can someone remind me to make a Be Right Back screen and an intro screen and a closeout screen? I would like to make all of those things, but I keep forgetting. You know, I thought I did have a Be Right Back. Like, I've got one that I used to use, but I thought I had it in here, in this software. Like, I've definitely got it over on my StreamYard software, but this is the Ecamm. No, I don't have it here. I should. That one's quite an easy fix. I've just got to, like, create a new, imagey thing and add the Be Right Back in. It would not be hard. We just need elevator music while you're gone. We basically got fibrific elevator music that we can use. I thought these screens were made from the start. Look, I want to rebrand some of them, which is why I want to make them. But the Be Right Back screen I like. I definitely keep that one. I've just got to add it into this software. It's not here. Your brother is in the chat. Blame him. No, well, he doesn't live here, and he didn't borrow it and then not return it, whereas Abby borrowed it and hasn't brought it back. So, yeah. Oh, thank you. Sally's popped a link in for Game Widows. So that is there. I'm still going to use the same jingle music. I bought the rights to that stuff, so I'm still going to use it. But I'll probably create a different screen for it, for the startup screen, because I do miss it. Crochet with Claire is back in the house. We did have a big chat about the Yarny Girls podcast, and you just weren't here. What can I say? Everyone hates it, FYI. Everyone hates the Yarny Girls podcast. They're never going to listen to a second episode. So, that's what they said. That's not true. But if you do have Yarny questions that you would like for us to broach, you can go and pop those over in the comments of the last video. So that would be cool. Jackie Doyle is in the house. Jackie, how are you going? Are you keeping warm? Because I am freezing here. And it's got to be colder for you down in Tasmania than it is for me in Brisbane, honestly. I don't even know what the temperature is. Tell me what it's probably going to be something like, it's 27 degrees. And I'm like, oh, it's so cold. Let me look. It's 19 degrees, okay? Like, that still feels cold to me in this room. The lounge room feels lovely. This room, not so much. So it hasn't had any sun hit it yet. So it's still in the shadows. Jackie says, I'm good. It's cold and rainy and blowing a gale. That's cool. That's fine. No, nothing to worry about. Claire says, oh no, that's it. Scrap the podcast. Oh my gosh, it's 6 where Claire is. I don't even want to think about it. Like, I'm not kidding. My feet are so cold, they're starting to get just a little bit, when they get that little numb tingle because they're too cold? That's where my feet are at, just to tell you. It's 19 outside where it's sunny. And this is the thing. Yesterday I got this alert on my phone. It's like, oh, it's 27 degrees. It's nearing the hottest temperatures for this day in May. And I'm like, that's great. Where is that happening? Because it's not happening in my house. Because it's so cold. But I mean, our house is designed to suck out the heat because of the hot summers we get. So it's probably just sucking out all the heat here too. Anyway, Leanne says, I think it's colder inside than out today. Yeah, it is just cold. I've got socks and long pants and long sleeve shirt, and I've got I have to say, my chest and like neck and everything and face all feels fine because I've got my warm, woolly cowl on, and I think that's making a big difference. But my feet are just so cold. Oops, have I done something there, did I? Oh no, that was the previous row. I must have caught it at some stage. So yeah, we are so close to the end of this row. We'll be back onto a flamingo row. And then we'll be back on to choose another colour. So we've finally gotten an 8. For those of you that are just catching it, we rolled an 8 and everyone voted, and they voted for purple, even though the last colour we did was purple. So it was not a resounding, it was a big mix of colours, but purple won the vote. So if you didn't vote last time thinking your vote doesn't count, your vote always counts. So make sure you get in and vote in next ones. And now I do empty and refresh the form just beforehand. So don't try and get in early and sneaky vote early. Alrighty, so back you go. And I did see Freaky mention that maybe we should have Rooster because it's only had one colour. And I would like to say I would like to use more Rooster, but only because it is the last one with yarn bath. Everything else, look, looking all schmick and neat over there. Then there's this. So I would like to get number 1, probably a couple of times based on how much yarn bath is there. So yeah. Now, back onto the Flamingo. Jackie Doyle got math rocks for her birthday. Oh my gosh. Which ones did you get, Jackie? Are they pretty? Like, can you put a photo of them over in the fun zone for us in the chat? Oh, I really want to see your math rocks. Alrighty. Now, we are on let me just double check how we're starting this round. Why are you so loose? Let's tighten you up. Okay. Get away, red end. Okay. Sally voted for Rooster. There you go. Claire, the number 1, missed the wild card. She did. Joe Good, it was great to see you in the chat. Thanks for dropping in. I appreciate that. There isn't a dice emoji. Oh, there is. Let me just see if I can copy it for you. Copy. I don't know if it'll work, but we'll see. Let me know if that works for you guys, if you guys can see the dice. Dice emojis. I'll pop a photo in the fun zone. Thank you, Jackie. I appreciate that. Sal sees it. Awesome, Sally. Okay, let's try not to lean on the table too much because it's a bit shaky today. Dice scene, not in the desktop of YouTube emojis. No, it's not. I have it saved separately so that I can use it for this particular project, because I seem to be mentioning dice a lot more in the last few weeks of my life than I have done pretty well most other times, except for when I was playing Dungeons and Dragons. So yeah. Deb D is in the chat. Hello, Deb. How you going? Good to see you in here. Angela says, watching football and listening to the chat because it's a thing. Absolutely, it's a thing. It's totally a thing. I do try to make the chats interactively interesting to watch, but also for those of you working on your own projects, so you don't have to stare at the screen to understand what's going on. You may miss stuff, but that's the same as if you watch TV and crochet at the same time too. Oh, I just want to say, for those of you in Australia, that Haven is now on Netflix. I noticed it yesterday. I just wanted to point it out. It's been on Netflix in the US for ages, but finally on in Australia. And also, if you are a Netflix user in Australia and you share your Netflix account, the time is nigh. Keep an eye out on an email from Netflix because they're rolling out the emails to tell people, hey, if you want this particular device to have access, you're going to have to pay an extra $7.99 a month. So we're keeping an eye on that as well. It is just one of those things where it happens. Oh, and someone on Facebook was having a whinge, so I decided to jump in. I'm like, well, because they were like, oh, that means we're going to have to spend $60 a month on Netflix. And I'm like, or you could spend $79 a year on Amazon Prime and get all the additional perks. So, yeah. And then someone's replied with, like, how much they hate Amazon. And I'm just like, I just ignored it. I'm like, whatever, dude. Whatever. I love Amazon. Sally says, wait, what? Running to look and put it in my watch list. Yep, I watched the first episode yesterday. It was so good. I miss that show so much. But still no Eureka. I double checked. There's still no Eureka. It's a Foxtel one, so we probably won't get it anytime soon. John he's been playing D&D with his kids. Just found my dice bag from high school and college. Oh my gosh. I have like 70 green dice and like 9 sets of D&D dice. I've got 4 sets of D&D dice, but randomo colors. And I don't have my old dice. They're gone. Why can't I find it? I don't know, Sally. Haven on Netflix. I don't know. And Eureka on Foxtel, if you've got Foxtel. So, but I definitely saw it. I watched an episode yesterday, and I don't have a VPN set up on the house. So, Sue says, hello, everyone. I should be working, but I am secretly working. First comment I see is Freaky pooping a photo? What? Did I miss something, Freaky? What did you do? I'm scrolling back. I don't know. Pop in a photo from Deb. I don't know. I don't even know. Oh my gosh. I mean, that would be surprising. Bianca's not seeing it either. I definitely watched the first episode yesterday of Haven on Netflix. Maybe it wasn't Netflix. I thought it was Netflix. Try Prime. It might have been Prime. I'll check today. I'll check and I'll put it in. It might have been Prime. It could have been Prime. I'll just check on my phone. It might have been Prime, but I was just so excited because it's not been on anything I've had for ages. I don't even know if I have Prime on my phone. Prime Video, TV shows. I don't know. Haven, odd. Haven. It's on Prime. Sorry, I told lies. Yeah, I was watching it on Prime. Whoops. My bad, everybody. It was on Prime. It's Prime. Crisis averted. It's Prime. Oh, sorry. You found it on Prime. Yeah. But, like, my point is, it's on a streaming service in Australia, and it wasn't before. Oh, knit spin girl. I just trimmed the yarn tails off a row of squares and realised I hadn't woven in one of them. Oh, no. I was trimming a long tail off the sweater because I had a fair bit, but not enough to do a row. And I really don't like changing yarn in the middle of a row. It's a thing. I know, it's stupid. Anyway, had like this long, and I knitted another couple of rows and thought, I'm going to cut that off. It's annoying. So I cut it. I only to realize I'd cut my working yarn, and then I had to rejoin on again. I'm just like, ugh, so annoying. It's so annoying. At least I could fix that though. I don't know what you're going to do. Could you, how short did you cut it? Could you spit splice it and add a longer bit on and then weave it? And I don't even know, like, and is it acrylic? Is it wool? We need more details. So Bob Curran is in the chat. Lurking today as I have limited downloads until next month. Oh my goodness. I don't know how you do it, bub, honestly. It's been a long time since I've been on some sort of limited download. I've had unlimited for quite a few years now. And it does my head in when I get like a, like, because my phone has a limited, it has a limit. And every now and again, I'll get like this message on my phone, like, hey, you've used half of your data. And I'm like, how the heck have I used half of my data? And then I've realized I must have turned it off while I was at home or something. Anyway, it happens and it's frustrating. And Leanne, I agree with you. Thank you to all the lurkers watching. Absolutely. We definitely appreciate the lurkers. If you're a lurker, just pop a quick hi into the chat, just so we know you're there. I know technically that means you're no longer lurking, but then I can just see who's here. And the replay watchers. We have lots of replay watchers. So thank you so much to those of you that watch the replays. I very much appreciate everything that you do. And I also want a massive thank you to channel members as well. You get, you don't get much, I'll be honest. But you get to support me, and I really do appreciate that support. Having the channel members means that YouTube actually sends me money every month, not just every couple of months. So with such a small channel, and I don't think 5,000 is small, or 6,000 is small, but YouTube does. But with such a small channel and still being able to receive a payment every month is actually pretty unusual. So I put that down to all of you who are channel members here. So I want to say a massive thank you to those of you that do that, because it also means that if something happens, if something breaks, if my microphone dies, if a camera dies, maybe not a DSLR right now, but if my webcam dies, I could go out and replace it. And that's because of the channel members. So just wanted to say a big thank you to those of you that do that. This Christopher was able to weave in some spare yarn to rescue the stitches from the center out square that was starting to escape. Oh my gosh. Well, I'm glad that you're able to solve that, because ouch. Holly's here lurking, but she is knitting one of her squares for her knitting class. Go Holly. Good to see you. And Sally has an excellent point. If you have not had a chance to thumbs up yet, now is the time. That is awesome. Dice Envy Dice. Oh, interesting. There's a couple of packs of dice that from Natural 20 dice, the link's in the description, that I'm very interested in, and I'm trying not to get attached to them. I was concerned that there was a weighting issue with some of the dice because we hadn't rolled a single 8, but it just turns out that it was just luck. And I cannot believe that, like, I made such a big deal of it at the start, rolled an 8. It wasn't even on camera, so it probably looks like I bodged it, but no bodging happened. It was just a fluke that it happened today. But I was looking last night because I realized I needed to move some of the videos into a playlist. And I'm like, are there 8 weeks of videos? And we haven't rolled a stinking 8. So week 9, I think we got the 8. I think that was, I'd have to double check the numbering. But yeah, it took us 9 weeks to get an 8. So boo to that is what I say. Boo. Alrighty, we are powering along here, getting towards the end. I think I'm going to need a sip of my tea. And I don't think I've botched up any stitches yet. It'll happen. Oh, that's an excellent solution, Bub. She says lurking means that she can knock back the resolution to very low and mostly just listen. Yeah, absolutely. If you don't know how to do that, on your little viewer screen, there's a cog. And when you click that cog, you can choose how fast the video plays. Not so much with the live stream unless you scrub back and then double time it to catch back up. But during a normal, like a VOD or a video on demand, you can actually click on that little dial and change the speed. You can change the resolution. so that, you know, like I live stream in, I think it's 1080p. It might actually be 1440. I should possibly double check that. But yeah, I live stream at full HD as minimum. But then you can watch it at 360 if you want, if you need to conserve your data, like what Bub's doing. So you'll still get a picture. It will be a bit grainy. You'll still be able to see though, and it will definitely save on your data for sure. Oh, Louie, hello, big boy. He's having a big old stretch in the doorway. If he climbs on his bed, I will turn on the Louie cam. Oh, he's getting closer. He's getting closer. Here he is. I think he's in the bed. Louie cam. Oh, he's making it comfy. He's got to make it comfy first. Nothing's as comfy as the bed you've got out in the lounge room, dude. Or do you want the blanket on you? Is that the problem? He digs up the blankets now and totally goes to town trying to get under the blankets. We'll just see if we can just... Oops. There he is. That's pretty precarious, so we'll try not to bump that. Sally has the 1440, so there you go. So yeah, I'm live streaming in, I think that's technically 4K. I'm not sure. But yeah, it's at least 1080. Natural Dice has this Aztec dice set. I got a set like that for the kids. They came in yellow, black, red, blue, green, and purple. Oh, nice. Oh yeah, because Holly, you've been doing a knitting, like a weekly knitting group. Is it weekly or monthly? But anyway, a regular group, and it has been pushing you out of your comfort zone. Excellent. I think it's really important to do craft that pushes us beyond the skills we thought we had, because quite often you can do it. You just didn't know you could do it because you've put, like, you know, we talk about how some people talk about how difficult socks are. In some countries, the first project that children work on when they learn to knit is socks. So for them, socks is just like, whatever. It's like, why is that hard? That was my first. Vampire says I always set mine to 720 on my PC has a hissy fit. Absolutely. So that's the advantage, is you can set it to whatever you want that works for your device or your internet speeds. So yeah, I personally do try to set mine at whatever the highest is. On the replay, I think it was stuff up until it finishes processing. So it takes 12 hours to process one of our live streams. So sometimes it just keeps doing the dial, like you'll get I drop it right down to 360 if I miss someone's live stream and I'm trying to catch it straight after it, because otherwise it just keeps doing the spinny wheel of annoyance. So, it's monthly. Excellent. Yeah, you need to check it because YouTube's auto setting is dumb, honestly. Like, it is super dumb. Like, I've got I would say decent download speeds. My issue is my upload speeds, but my download speeds are pretty darn good. And it's just like, why have you thought that 360 on this particular video that's been up for months is a good plan? So I always just have a quick double check, especially if something's just looking a little, grainy or a little less than stellar. Angela says, I'm getting ready to do my first enclosed border. Oh, wow. I've not done a knitted enclosed border other than on machine knitting. So I have never done a hand knit one. So I understand the theory of it. I just haven't done it myself. So can't wait to see pictures, Angela. So yeah, we are nearly at the end of this row. So we're going to get ready for another dice roll very soon. Crochet with Claire says, when I jumped on the live, it was set to 360. Yeah. So, and this is the thing, like YouTube do try to make it so you can set things to how you as the viewer will get the best experience. But sometimes, they don't understand that you're willing to put up with a little bit to get that better viewing experience. and they're more likely to have it at a lower setting than what you could do than a higher setting. So if you do want that higher setting, just always just give it a quick, just have a quick look and see. Maybe your favorite creator is actually doing better quality videos than you thought, just because YouTube had been doing that without you realizing it. Francis says mine defaults to 480. There you go. Holly says, I've realized this year that I love knitting socks. I was visiting my mum the last couple of weeks and was able to complete a pair of socks for my mum. And I used fibrific yarn for cuff, heel, and toe. Oh, that's so cute. And thank you. I actually just found a little project bag full to the brim of all sorts of odds and ends of fibrific sock yarn. So both Sunflower and Pegasus. It's just all these little minis and, you know, bits and bobs. So I thought I was nearly out, but I'm not nearly out now. So the old Bantam shawl got pulled, the old Bantam blanket got pulled out to have a look at it because it got sort of put aside because I was like, I'm not going to have enough yarn to make a blanket now. I started it when I was still dyeing. So I thought that there would be a continuous supply. So I didn't think it would be an issue. But yeah. And those of you that weren't here last week and didn't see me talk about the Australian wool stores yarns that have 71 colours and 56 colours depending on the base, I would happily talk about it again if you want me to pull that out. I still haven't decided on a project to make with the grey gradient that I was given. And you guys know how much I like grey. My TV defaults to 1080, but I need the crochet in 4K so I can count the fibers. Oh my gosh. Okay. Alrighty. We made it to the end of the row. So what we'll do is I'll just pull up these yarns briefly. Now I do plan on actually cutting out what we talked about in last week's video and making it a bit of a standalone video. But I'm happy to talk about it again because I love it. Love it, love it, love it. Yeah. Oh, Claire, you do like the back of the blanket? Yeah, me too. It's one of those ones where I'm not going to care which way it goes. So let me just have a drink. Catherine from the Australian Wool Store put up a post on Instagram talking about her new yarn range, which is this other, or newer yarn range, which is this other one, which I'll get in a minute. How it's got 56 colours. And so I DM'd her and I was just like, oh my God, Catherine, I want to buy one of each of the, not each of the colours, but one of each of the sizes, because in her yarn lines, let's put these up the right way, she has a 4-ply, an 8-ply, a 10-ply, and in this one it's a 14-ply. Okay, and this one has 71 colours. Okay, there are 71 colours available in all of these. So I made some swatches. This is the 14-ply on a 7mm needles, which is just got so much squish. I did a little crochet one, but it was using up so much yarn I was going to not have enough to have a pretty ball display. But such chunky, super bulky yarn. Like, it's a definite bulky. 14-ply is definitely classed as bulky. So then we had the 10-ply, which again, squish. Now this is pure Australian wool, and it is got a little bit of bite to it. I would say it's not as much bite as the classic from Bendigo, but it's also not as soft as the luxury from Bendigo, if that's any indication. It's definitely a pure wool. The 14-ply, total squish, right? Like, I could have the 14-ply next to my skin. The 10-ply, I could still have the 10-ply next to my skin. But there is the little knitted sample, and I made a crochet sample. So, and then the 8-ply. The 8-ply, again, I could still have that on my skin. And I know everybody can handle different things, so you'll need to test these for yourself. So this was the 8 ply, and this was the 8 plies knitted sample. And now I haven't washed these, so I don't know. I don't know if it softens when it washes, but I haven't washed it to check, so I don't know the answer to that. Now the 4 ply, it's twisted a little tighter. I mean, I probably could adjust to it being on my skin, but it's not. It's twisted a little tighter than the others, so it's a little firmer. And I didn't knit a sample of that one, but I love these 71 colors, like seriously, and 50-gram balls. Okay, so I love the Bendigo 200-gram balls. I think they're great. Oh yes, please, Leanne, if you've got a link handy, that would be awesome. I did have one last week, so you can find it in the description for last week's video. Actually, it might even, I cut and pasted last week, so it might be there. I had a Fibrific link that directed them directly to this page. So the colors are just amazing. So on the Australian Wool Store, you'll need to navigate. This is the commercially dyed yarn. So it is definitely a lot of color choices. A lot of color choices. So with the 50-gram balls, if you're doing a project like something that will need a bit of color work with little pops of color here and there, the 50-gram balls are amazing for that. 200-gram balls that say Bendigo put out, they're good, but sometimes you don't need 200 grams. Like if you're doing a big blanket like what I'm doing here, 200-gram balls are the bomb. That's what you want. But the 50-gram balls are perfect for color work and things like that. And it means that you can have, like I worked out that if I wanted to make a pair of socks in this yarn, I would need 2 of these. These are $7 Australian each. So I could make a beautiful pure wool pair of Australian socks, of Australian wool socks for $14. And if I wanted to either needed to make a bigger pair, or if I needed, or I wanted to do, as like a hint of another color, it's only another $7 for the extra ball. So for $21, I'm still got 100% Australian wool. There's no nylon. So it's still less expensive than a specific sock yarn. Now, it is pure wool, so, it doesn't have the nylon, but it does have a lot of twist. So I could see it lasting quite well. But I haven't made socks with it yet, but I'll get there. So this was the Australian Wool Store's Pure Australian Wool. I'm going to put it back in this little bag, so it'll be a bit noisy, so bear with. In the little samples go, squish. Okay. Then we have Louis has been helping himself to this bag. I've had to put it away. But he did, little sneak. I hope that's the end of a ball and he hasn't just trashed it. Okay. Louis got one of the greys and took it for a run around the house. Okay, let me look here. 10 ply, 4 ply, 8 ply, 14 ply, and I've got an extra 10. Okay, so this is the Australian Superfine Merino. Now this is unbelievably soft. It is so soft. It makes luxury feel coarse. It is very round yarn. Like I think it would do really good for cables. It's very, very, very soft, very squishy. I just do this a lot with it right now. I've made no samples with this one yet, but I will do. But this is just so soft. It is ridiculous. But again, we've got the 4 ply, the 8 ply, the 10 ply, and a 12 ply. Now this one's not available in 71 colours, unfortunately. It's only available in 56 colours, which is still unbelievably good. Now, Louis has been getting into this one. I don't know why he likes this one so much more, but he just does. And so, yeah, super massive squish factor. And just, Amazing. I can imagine making anything next to the skin soft with this. So I highly recommend you go and check them out. I don't have an affiliate link. The link that I was trying to get Leanne to use was just one that got you to the right page easier. There's no affiliate sales. It's just an amazing, again, Australian yarn business importing some amazing wool. Now, you know, it's Australian merino, but it's not milled in Australia, which if you do some research, you'll realize that a lot of Australian wool is not milled in Australia, even when they say that it is. So it is definitely, this one has been processed in China. I'm not going to lie. It's written right here. She makes it very clear that it's Australian superfine merino processed in China. No bones about it. But beautiful, soft. Now, if you've ever used, I would say Zara, that's the closest feeling yarn to it that I would say, which Zara is probably my favorite yarn. It is the one I just love the best. So, and my mum has requested, funnily enough, Daniel's like, I need a new beanie. Mum needs another set of gloves. So I'm going to make her next set of gloves out of this stuff. Because I think she'll just love it. Because her first set was out of Zara, a purple Zara. Oh, I can see people giving me hearts. Thank you, people giving me hearts. That's exciting. So, yeah, I would say probably closest feel, I would put it to the beautiful Zara yarns. Now, this is what I asked for. I asked for one of each of this. But then she also sent me the one of each of the Australian wool as well, which was fantastic. But it doesn't end there because Catherine's a friend. And Catherine knows my obsession with greys, right? She knows my obsession with greys. She sent me a grey gradient for me to make something out of. So it is all 10-ply grey gradient for me to make something with. I'm so excited. Eek. So yeah, but yeah, Catherine also does hand-dyed yarns. So you can buy her hand-dyed yarns at the Australian Wool store. So yeah, you can get it all shipped together or shipped separately, however you want to do. Natalie is saying that Catherine was very busy on the weekend at the Canberra Wool Weekend. Got a quick chat, but a line was forming behind me, so I moved on quickly. I'm not surprised. Catherine's stuff is phenomenal. So if you want to go and check out the Australian Wool store and go and check out her beautiful, beautiful yarns, you totally need to do it. And if you have an idea of what I can make with 5, like a gradient of 5, these are 87 meters per 50 grams, and I have 5 of them. I'm thinking probably a cowl and a beanie, but if you've got specifics, let me know. The other option is I could also pop in just these are 10-plies too. So I could pop in like a little push of purple or a little push of blue. Or not, just leave it at the gorgeous greys. So, you know, we'll see. So this was my amazing gift that Catherine sent me. So generous. And for clarity's sake, I did not pay for it. She did send it all to me. But she also didn't want to be like, oh, you can't say this and you can't say that. There was none of that going on. Okay, it is time for the next dice roll. It's dice roll time. Roll the dice to choose the next colour. Okay. Dice roll time. So we've already rolled the 8. So I'll bring this down so that we can roll actually on camera now that I know that that's not on camera there. Alrighty. Excuse me. Yellow dice. Here we go. Throw into the chat the number you want me to roll. Knit Spin Girls, we've just had 3 and 3. Seriously. Do you guys, like, next time if you just want a purple blanket, just tell me and we'll make a purple blanket. Oh my goodness. Alright, here we go. It's a 7. We have Duckling. We haven't had Duckling for a few rows. There's the last Duckling there. Come on, Duckling. So we've got the Duckling is in. Oh, I better write it down. 7. Okay. Join it on. Join it on. There we go. Alrighty. Vampire got what she wanted. Yeah, she did. Francis says, yay, I like yellow. That's cool. Look, this is a good yellow, I have to say. Like, you guys know, I'm not 100% hugest fan of yellow, but I think yellow has a place in projects. It creates beautiful contrast and little pops of lightness, and you've got to think of these things. I also don't like brown, but I think brown actually adds a lot to projects when it's used right. So, yeah. Now, I've realised I actually didn't put in the shortcuts to last week's live stream for the dice rolls. So I'll make sure I add those in. And, yeah. Dun, 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 dun. I saw a preview for the next Indiana Jones movie, and I have to say I'm very impressed that they haven't tried to go the whole de-age Indiana too hard. There's a few throwback scenes and stuff like that, but I think they've grabbed old footage. And if they did de-age, then it looks great. So, yeah. Baby pink and chocolate brown are my favourite colours from Angela. There you go. Gamer Widows, why would you say that? I'm going to have to put in an early order so that I can get some before Bendigo sells them all out. Pud for all seasons. Is this actually... do you know what? I'm not going to order any. I'm going to be good, and I'm just not going to have any. That's what I'm going to do. But for those of you that care, if you're in Australia, go and check out Pud for all seasons. You normally have to ring to make a pudding ball order, I think, or email. I think I emailed last time. And you get these either jars or boxes, depending on how many you order. They normally sell a jar of 10 for about $20, but they're these handfuls of pudding, all different types of pudding that have been coated in chocolate. They're delicious. They're absolutely delicious. So, they're great. I'm not going to order any because I eat them because they're delicious. And they're not good for me. It's too much dried fruit. But, I still eat it. And cakey, so good. Will I need to bring some in my suitcase to retreat? I mean, they're quite heavy and they take up a lot of space. And I appreciate the thought, but I would prefer you to be able to bring your own stuff to retreat rather than have it all full of pudding balls. Because even the small jar is quite big and heavy. I've been using one of the jars in my pantry for ages, and Abby did a big pantry clean out. Like teenagers do, everyone else is going to bed because it's 11 o'clock at night on a Sunday night. And she just starts cleaning a pantry. Oh, I'll do it after I'm done. Oh, Sally wants you to bring pudding balls. Sally wants pudding balls. Well, if you guys want Emma to bring pudding balls to retreat and you're coming to the Fiberific retreat, send Emma a message and you can work it out. But I'm going to be good and not eat the pudding balls. Even though I love them. I'm like, should I just get just one little jar of pudding balls? I will decide later. I will not decide right now. Just one little jar of pudding balls won't hurt. And it won't. And my dietitian's amazing and everything's allowed. Just in moderation. So I can't have 4 pudding balls on the same day, which I never did anyway. They're very rich. You only need, one is dessert. Seriously. Game Widow says the factory is only 45 minutes from me. Beck said she didn't even know they existed. Oh my God, Beck, where have you been? Every year around this time of the year, we start talking about pudding balls. It was like the one thing at Bendigo, I would buy myself a new spindle and a jar of pudding balls. They were the 2 definite things that I bought at Bendigo every year whenever I went. And then when COVID happened and we couldn't do pudding balls and we couldn't do Bendigo, so I couldn't do pudding balls. They allowed remote orders, and they did like this tray of ridiculous number of pudding balls. So it was like $100 or $150. How many did we get? I can't remember, but it felt ridiculous and an extravagance, and it was, and I still bought them. And we had pudding balls for months because they do last such a long time because they're all coated in chocolate, so they're sealed and not in the air. And they're pudding, so like Christmas pudding with the fruit and the like the cakey pudding kind of thing, not like dairy pudding. But yeah, just very good. I highly recommend them. Under a rock. How about one jar to share with everyone? I think you only get 10 balls in a jar, so that's not enough for one jar to share with everybody. So, yeah. You'd have to go 2 jars and then have a fight to the death over the spares. Oh, goodness me. I wonder if they'd sponsor the retreat. Probably not. They probably would be like, you just want free pudding balls, and I'm like, yeah. And we are on the hunt. I'll fight you for the orange ones. Oh, no. Oh, I like them. I'm not fighting you. I would let you have it. It's yours. Sal said, well, I won't eat one. Oh, you don't even like Christmas pudding. Well, why did you say to do it? Why did you tell her to bring them if you didn't want one? I'm so confused, Sally. I'm so confused. You don't like Christmas pudding. I'm also confused by people who don't like Christmas pudding. So, I love Christmas pudding so much. Like, I love Christmas pudding more than I like trifle. And I like trifle quite a lot. And Bianca doesn't eat them either. So maybe you could get away with 10. Maybe you could get away with a jar. I don't know. I don't know. Leanne says, don't worry, Beck. I was clueless too until Chantelle mentioned them. I've never been to Bendigo. I think every year we talk about a road trip, but then it's never happened. Well, we did start talking about a road trip, and then, the world closed down, and then we sort of, we probably should start talking about it again. But I think it would have to be an instead of retreat kind of thing, because it's a long trip. It's at least a 2-day drive. Like, I do the drive in 2 days, but that's 12 hours a day in the car. 12 hours the first day and 10 hours the second day. And I don't know if everybody on a road trip would be okay with that. So I think it would take us longer if we did it as a road trip. Or retreat near Bendigo. Oh, that's not a bad idea. That's actually a clever idea. Combine them. I don't eat pudding, so I don't know if I'd find it tasty. Yeah, if you don't like pudding, there's a good chance you're not going to like pudding balls. Even though they've got like crispy chocolate on the outside and they're so delicious. If you're not a pudding fan, I think that's kind of a prerequisite. There is a big chunky knot coming up. That's exciting. I'm not going to make it to the end of the row before the chunky knot. So annoying. I hate knots. I understand why they exist. I really do. And considering it's the first, I don't think, did we have any knots in any of the pink balls yet? I don't think we have. I always cut the knots out. I do not trust some rando in a mill joining my yarn for me. I made that mistake once. I will not make it again. Fly down and we'll find a minibus. Yeah. I mean, or we could even like fly down and then catch, like, all meet up and make it a big train journey and no minibus required. So I don't know. There's lots of options. Good morning. Could do a group order and have them delivered directly to retreat to save on bag space. I mean, I can see Leonie not minding, or maybe she would mind. I don't know. But yeah, that's an option as well, Amelia. Um, it does sound fun. It is. It's a fun event. I really do love the Bendigo Sheep and Wool Show. Um, I had some friends. I'm just trying to think if any of them are in the chat. No, but some friends who would come down and they would rent a house and meet up there, and I would stay with them on the Sunday night, and then I would load all their excess luggage into my car so they could still fly home without their excess luggage, and they'd fly back to Brisbane, and then come out and pick up all their additional odds and sods. So it meant that they weren't limited. Like if they found a loom that was cheap, because my car was so much emptier on the way home than it was on the way down. We don't have airport train yet. No, but you could catch the air rail bus to the train station and then catch the train out to Bendigo. Oh, isn't there an air rail bus that goes all the way out to Bendigo as well? I don't know. I could have imagined that, but I think there was. But anyway, we have options. There's options. Because I think you need a minibus. I think there's a special license for minibus, isn't there? So someone would have to have a special license for that to work. Okay. Alrighty. Yellow duckling back over there. Back onto the pink. Oops. There we go. There's a lovely retreat house at Hepburn Springs. Can you send me that over on the fun zone? Or pop it into today's chat, because I don't know where that is and I would like to have a look. Oh, it's to Ballarat, not to Bendigo. Okay, all right. Well, yeah, we could always catch the bus to the city and then change over and then all jump on the same train to go to Bendigo. Or not. We could find alternative transport. What am I doing here? I automatically started single crocheting and I'm like, oh my god, but nope, that is correct. Excellent. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. At the start, I'm having 5 because I have adapted Claire's pattern. For those of you that are watching and don't know, I have added an additional single crochet at the beginning and at the end, and an additional row of single crochet at the bottom, so that it's easier for me to do my border later. Because I don't like having to eat into my 4 for my border, so there would be only 3 on the edges. It was doing evil things to my brain. So I just decided add an extra couple of stitches. Siobhan's hubby has the license. But if Siobhan's hubby is our driver, who's going to look after Siobhan's kids? That's my question. That's the question. Oh, there's an extra comments and I've missed them. Hang on a second. I think if it's more than 12 seats, yes. Yeah. I don't know if we'd need one with more than 12 seats. We probably would for luggage, so that us plus our luggage fits. I suppose it depends on how many of us go, really. And how many we pick up in Melbourne. Because it sounds like we're picking up Emma, and no, Emma's going to have to take her own car because she's got a shop. She's legit going to have to take her own car. Anyway, options, things to do. And if you're in Australia and you don't know what we're talking about, you need to check out the Australian Wool Show. It's held in Bendigo every year in the 2nd or 3rd week of July. Emma would have the dates as she is attending. But if you hit their website, all that information is there. And it is the biggest wool show in Australia. Absolutely largest. Hand dyers, hand spinners, commercial adventures, as well as sheep, and of white sheeps and black sheeps and all the sheeps and sheepdogs and, everything. It's the biggest wool show in Australia. So all the things that come with that, 14th to 16th of July. There you go. Thank you. Emma will be well ready for a break and to come and join us at the Fiberific retreat after. Because that's August. It's only a couple of weeks later. You'll definitely need a break. There we go. What I should really do is have a little blanket under the table covering my feet. That would be the smart thing to do, wouldn't it? Louis, can you get me a blanket? It's like, nope, I'm not even moving. I'm a cold dog. I need a blanket. I'll be very happy to move to the sunny chair in the lounge room. There's this chair, and I've noticed we've all started fighting over it. It's my craft chair. It's the chair I sit on all year round. It's my favourite chair. But in this kind of weather, everybody else sits on it. So I come out and just be like, oh, someone's in my chair. And they're like, oh, first in, first served. And I'm just like, but it's my chair. I have a mat on the floor, but our house is concrete with lino. We don't have carpets. Get Louis to sit on my feet. That would be nice. Angela says, I'm hoping to go to my first fibre festival next weekend near Indianapolis. Nervously excited. Oh my gosh, you're going to have such a good time. We have to hear all about it. Honestly, we need to know if you've enjoyed it and what kind of stuff was there, and take photos and put them in the fun zone. I'm like, I want to live vicariously through Angela. She is going to a yarn show next weekend. That's all right. It's nearly time, and I will move out to the sun. Yeah, I mean, he's a dog, although he doesn't normally do that. So luckily, because that could be quite wafty. We've got tiles, so we have rugs in all the places I sit. Yeah, look, out in the lounge room, we don't have any rugs or mats, but I don't have my feet on the floor because I'm short and my feet don't reach the floor when I'm sitting on a couch. So I have a footstool, so my feet are up, and I have a blanket. I always have a blanket. And then, yeah. Yeah, I agree with you, Beck Nick. Sometimes you need something under your feet to stop the cold from coming in. Yeah, pillow works well. But I will have to add a blankie to my checklist. And tissues. Tissues need to be added to my checklist too. I have a checklist that I run through every time I'm going to go live to make sure I'm not going to miss anything, that everything's ready, microphones are working, cameras are working, blah, 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 blah. But I didn't have grab tissues. I have grab water, which I have, and grab my tea or a hot drink, which I have, but which is no longer hot. There we go. Took out that knot. But yeah, just, no tissues and no blankies. I'll have to add them to my list because I need them. What's really funny is the week I add tissues, I won't need one. And all these people that are like, get snow, are like, oh, yeah, it's so cold. Oh, you need a blankie, you poor baby. Like, because like what it is, right? Is we have huge temperature drops. We'll get up to 26, 27 through the day. But then we're dropping down to 1 overnight. I need a Fiberific thermal mug. I mean, that's not a bad idea. It's really not a bad idea. I have to check to see if Redbubble does a thermal mug. And I'll check. I haven't checked Redbubble for a bit. So I'll check Redbubble and see if they do a thermal mug. It's probably really expensive because everything on Redbubble is so expensive. But it's because it's all custom done. I could talk to my cousin. My cousin made me this one. So she does sublimation printing. So she made me this. So maybe she could do a thermal mug. I'll have to find out. Freaky says it's 9 there now. And he's probably like, I'm not complaining about the cold. With a picture of Louie and Macy. Aw. They're very photogenic. That's for sure. But yeah, I'll have to have a look. I don't know. Thermal mugs are the best for keeping coffee hot for ages. Yeah, I had a thermal travel mug that I used to use, but its seals went. Is Dalesford far from Bendigo? I don't know. I'm definitely not the person to ask. Maybe someone in the chat can help. I read an article about houses in Australia not being sufficiently heated. It was shockingly percentage of houses being under 18 degrees. Yeah, our houses are not built for cold weather. They're really not. They're built for hot weather and to keep the heat out. So when we're getting these colder winters, or at least they feel like they're getting colder to me, it could just be my bones are getting old. But when we're having these colder winters, with these overnight temperature drops, and it takes half a day to heat the house back up again. It's just, we don't have like underfloor heating. We do have insulation, because that helps with keeping the heat out as well as keeping the heat in. So we've got insulation, but we don't have any kind of underfloor heating, or like gas heating or anything like that. All we've got is the reverse cycle air conditioners that run as heaters as well as coolers. And there's nothing in this room. This room has nothing. It has no heater, nothing. So yeah. It's the insulation and drafts that are the worst in older houses. Yeah, I mean, we probably should get the insulation checked. We haven't had it checked in ever. Like, we know it exists, but that's it. And we've been here for a long time, so it's probably compacted to uselessness now. But yeah. Yeah, the cost of electricity in Australia is phenomenal. Absolutely. Yeah. And I have solar, but it's still ridiculous. No insulation under timber floors when it's just 2-story with just battens around the lower level. Yeah, you'll be getting the full chill factor. Oh, Amelia's got a question. Got the answer for Deb. It's about an hour from Bendigo to Dalesford. Oops, 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, that felt like too many, didn't it? Keep going. We're nearly at the end of the row, and then we'll be able to roll again. Our insulation is good, but the drafts are killer. Yeah. Yeah, it's just a different way that houses are built here compared to other countries as well. Like, we really do build to keep the heat out and to get the heat out. Like, there's whirligigs on my roof that are like, I can't turn them off. They just constantly suck the heat out of the roof cavity. So that could be part of the reason why my house is cold. But in summer, even without cooling on, inside of our house is a good 4 to 5 degrees cooler than outside. So it works for summer. We have a wood heater for winter and an aircon for bedrooms. Yeah, our bedrooms we can control. They're fine. But this room doesn't have anything. So I had kind of hoped that by summer, like last summer, I would have been able to get an aircon in here. But it hasn't worked out that way yet. I've got more work to do because it's about $1,500 to get it in. So we've had it checked. We know which wall we're going to put it on. We know where it's going to be, all that kind of stuff. But yeah, we've got to save up the money first. Yeah. I'm like, is that an air conditioner kicking in? But no, it was a motorbike driving down the street. Oh my goodness. We've got one of the air conditioners that makes this sort of like as it's... Oh, did I do it again? I did, yeah. Too many stitches. 1, 2, 3, 4. There we go. I keep losing count is what it is. Okay. We are nearly at the end. I do like the pink and the yellow together. I can't lie. They look really good. The duckling. Now, for those of you watching, these colours that we have on screen, they're not true to colour. They really aren't. It's so that we can have something without the cameras freaking out, and so that it's not just glary. So this is like the happy medium. So if you want to check out what the colours really look like, go over and check on my Instagram page, and you can see photos from the previous live stream. I think I grabbed photos of the front and the back because the back does look really awesome. I have to say. Oh, 1, 2, 3. I had one of those instances yesterday where someone followed me on Twitter and I'm like, oh, that's going to be a total scam account. And then realized it was not. It's actually the real person. So I was just sort of sitting there thinking, what the hell are you following me for? Jeez. I mean, I'm going to accept and I'm going to follow you back for sure, but holy crap. And then like 10 minutes later, somebody else followed and I'm like, holy crap. Like, and then that one I've looked at and like, no, that one's definitely a scam account. So I was like, holy dooly, it's just a bizarre week or even just night. It was just one night of just like random follows on Twitter that you're just like, what? No, fake. Yes, not fake. Are you fake though? Because like, seriously, why are you following me? And the same thing happens on LinkedIn every now and again. I'll be like, oh my God, why is this person following me? And it's just like, it's someone that you have like ridiculous respect for, and they're like in the industry that you want to push into, and you're just like, oh my gosh, they're actually following me. And then you check and it's the real person, it's not a scam, and you're like, okay, don't freak out. Don't freak out. So yeah, it's bizarre. It's been a bizarre week. Okay, and then we are doing 5 across, and it is Dunskers. Where's my, can anyone see my scissors? Up there they are. They're under the blanket. Dunskies. Let's put the scissors somewhere where we can find them next time. There we go. Alrighty, we're on to another dice roll. So, oops, press the wrong button. Turn that one off. Go to dice roll, and then hit the button. It's dice roll time. Roll the dice to choose the next colour. Alrighty, let's try. Alright. You've already had 2 purples in a row. Oh yeah, Holly, let's go for another 8 and let you guys vote. I mean, I'm being selfish and now, like, we've already had 1 8 today. Let's have another. I'm okay with that. 7. Oh my God. Bring out the ducklings back. Another row of duckling. Who was it that liked the duckling last time? I hope you like it twice in a row. Oh my goodness. Well, I mean, I did say I liked it with the pink. What can I say? I love purple. Yep. Okay. Oh, we haven't had a green in a while. The last green is back here. That was the last rooster. Oh, there's 2 rows of rooster, but that was the last rooster back there. Where's the last parrot? There's the last parrots there. And that's the last of the... Yeah, I think green is the... Yep. Oh, Keanu Reeves and Lee Kernaghan follow you. Yeah, it's like, you're like, oh man, I spend so much time reporting fake accounts. It's not funny. Yeah, you're right. You're right, Lisby. 3 would have broken it up a little. Yeah, I saw that in the news this morning, Sally. It's pretty intense. The Today Show was doing a whole big how much we love Tina Turner thing and just kept playing lots of her old songs, and it was awesome. So, I mean, yeah. 83. That's right. A good innings, as my granddad would say. A good innings. I've just wasted the last little bit trying to find a plus size knitted V-neck cardigan. Really? I still don't have a pattern. Did you go to Ravelry and search? See, I think that I've found now on Ravelry, if I don't add plus size and just check, because I know my bust measurement, so I just check my bust measurement, because I'm going to have to make adjustments anyway. I'm finding that I find more patterns, because when they're listing their patterns, they have to tick a box that says plus size, and not all patterns that are plus size are being marked as such. So you would probably be surprised, like this Arco, out of 10 sizes, I'm the 6th size. So it's bizarre. Like, and I don't believe it was marked as a plus size pattern. So lots of sizing options available. And did you want it knit or crochet is the other question. Knitted. You had it there. Sorry. Yes. So a knitted plus size cardigan. Yeah, Tin Can Knits everything that just about every one of her patterns is plus sized. Same with who's the designer for Chickadee? Is it Isolde Teague? Is she the Chickadee designer? Because that's a plus size cardigan, but that's a not a V-neck. I have a question. Do you actually do the buttons up on your cardigan? So does it matter if it's V-neck or not? Because I actually don't do the buttons up on cardigans. I always just leave them hanging open. So I don't mind getting round necks on cardigans because I never button them up. And even if I do, I only button it up to a point. I don't button it all the way to the top. Yeah. So you've got some options to have a dig into. But I'll see if I've got anything in my library as well. My Ravelry library. See if there's anywhere for you to have a jump start from. Yes, when I'm cold, I just prefer V-neck. I prefer V-necks or scoop necks personally. I don't like anything too close to my neck. Like this is as high. This is a V-neck, but I don't mind shallow V-necks as well. So but I also don't mind a scoop neck that's this low too. I just don't like it. Like when I buy a crew neck t-shirt, it's like it's sitting at the base of my neck, and I don't like that. Leanne says I do not use the buttons. Yeah, I tend not to, and it's got to be really cold for me to actually zip my hoodie closed. But I like my hoodie to have the zip option. I don't like the pullover hoods. Because for me, it's not about the hood. It's about the size of the... They normally make hoodies a little bit oversized, and I like that. A cardigan is a great over a sweater, or is that a house coat? A house coat goes over a sweater. A cardigan's instead of a sweater. I think that's probably the easiest way to describe that. Anne Budd has a good size range too. Amy Herzog has patterns that are great, created to your measurements. Yeah. I think I've actually got a book here that is about creating patterns to your own measurements. Like you do a swatch and then you base it off the swatch, and yeah. Francis says I usually wear a scarf for winter, so I don't mind what neck shape my tops are. Yeah, see, look, my thing is I don't like anything touching here. I don't wear necklaces or anything. I don't like anything touching the base of my neck. So when my t-shirt touches it, I find it very distracting. So I try not to wear crew neck shirts. Every now and again I'll find one that's soft enough that doesn't bother me. I picked up a t-shirt that was a crew neck that I was just so hopeful for, and it's perfect. It's such soft fabric. And so relieved because it's my Captain Shaw t-shirt for, property of the USS Titan t-shirt that I picked up. So it was an online buy, and I'm like, oh, this could either be a good one or a bad one. I don't know. So luckily it was a good one, and I would legit buy from them again. Good value. It was directly through the artist. So yeah, I liked that. It was a nice feeling to be able to buy directly from the artist, like from their own website. Oh. And I think that's why I'm so fussy about the kinds of yarn that I wear as well, because my skin is very sensitive, not just to like yarn scratchiness, but also just to being touched. So, especially around my neck. So, yeah. Yeah, you wish, jellyfish. That's all I'm going to say to that. No. 5 more minutes. I'm getting hungry. I'm hungry now. I went to make porridge for breakfast. I was actually going to make some muesli for breakfast. And then when I was getting the muesli out, I found the last sachet of my porridge, which I was like, oh my God, I really wanted porridge. And I thought I was out. So I was so excited. I only realised there was no milk. So I could not make porridge. So much disappointment. Much disappointment. I don't know what I'm going to have for lunch today, though. Oh, yes, I do. Yes, I do. I got leftovers from dinner. I'm legit having that. You were waiting. Yeah, I know. I saw. Why is that held for review? I can't imagine Angela would put anything bad in. We'll soon find out. Okay. I think we're going to make it to the end. We'll make it to the end of this row. We'll get there. And then I'll go and try on my sweater and see if I've got to make any crazy adjustments. And I'll pop that into... I'll actually pop notes in. I won't pop a photo in just because, but I'll pop notes in. Yeah, I don't know what icon it is. Angela might have to explain it to us. It's very small and I can't see it, but yeah. Oh, it's a jellyfish. Of course it is. Because I said jellyfish. Thank you, Angela. Angela's like these blind people. At least it's supposed to be. Yeah, I don't know. It looks like the top of a jellyfish. I can see it now. Sort of. You're right, some of these icons. Goodness me. We're nearly there. Okay. Oh, did I tell you guys I went and saw Guardians of the Galaxy at the cinema? Like, I went to the cinema. I left my house and went to the cinema and saw Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. Because I'd read such mixed reviews, I didn't know what really to expect. But if you're going to go and see it, I would take tissues. There was a scene that made me cry. And so I wish I had had a tissue in my handbag, but I didn't. So other than that, I'm not saying anything. I enjoyed it. And I'm glad I went. Freaky said it was good. Yeah, I enjoyed it. But yeah, Tim and I were sort of sitting there trying to work out when the last movie we saw at the cinema was. And we think it might have been Avengers Endgame. Like, it's been a long time. It's been a very long time since we've been to the cinema. Angela says, I loved Guardians, cried a lot, but loved it. Yeah, I felt that there was a lot. Tim didn't understand, like, you know, because boy didn't cry. I don't know if he got misty-eyed. We do learn a lot about we do. It's nearly like it's a Rocket Raccoon is very much front and center on this one. Don't think I've seen anything but kids' movies in the last 10 years. Yeah, Abby doesn't come with us to the movies anymore, like just about ever. Hasn't done for quite a few years. I have no idea what the last movie I saw at the movies was. Maybe Top End Wedding. Yeah, it's a tough. It was really hard. Like we're sort of sitting. We think it might have been Endgame, but we're not certain. Like I could probably scrub through my camera roll because we always take a photo of us at the cinema. So I could probably scrub through and find the last time we were there. I could possibly even just type in cinema because all my photos are in Google Photos. So they do that kind of stuff. And it is 12 o'clock on the play school clock, and we have just finished our colour. So, how is that for timing? Excellent timing. Excellent timing. Okay. Oh, did I see Fantastic Beasts? I saw Fantastic Beasts 1 at the cinema. Is there a Fantastic Beasts 2? I don't even know. I don't know. I definitely saw 1 at the cinema. Gosh. Leanne says we do the drive-ins more than the walk-ins. When Abby was little, we did the drive-ins a lot more because when she was like, we lived at Eagleby and she was tiny and we would put her in her car seat and she would go to sleep and we would watch a movie. It was an amazing night out. We'd actually take our dinner with us. Like we'd have dinner made up at home and we were saving money for a new house. And so, yeah, it was definitely a way to do it. I was reading an article, like apparently Australia had 330 drive-ins and now there is 15 or 13 in the entire country just because of the cost of real estate. It's full on. Anyway, you guys, it was amazing, as always, to come and hang out with you all. And I really, really appreciate you keeping me company while I work on this crazy blanket. It feels so good. Like, I'm just like, hurry up and be bigger so I can use you. Yeah, it is next week, same bat time, same bat station. Have an awesome week, and I'll catch you all later. Bye for now.